They going above and beyond to promote the devil, and it's pissing me off. They going above and beyond to promote the devil, and it's pissing me off.
We're back at it again with another episode. Today, we are diving into some real talk with Katt Williams. He's been on fire lately, and guess what? He's not holding back. We're talking about Tyrese Gibson, dresses and power. Buckle up, it's about to get real. So, Tyrese Gibson, the dude from Fast and Furious, decides to rock up to a red carpet event wearing a striking red dress. And man, did that turn heads. People all over the internet went bonkers. But hold up, before we jump to conclusions, let's rewind a bit. See, there's this guy named Katt Williams, a comedian with a knack for dropping truth bombs. And when he caught wind of Tyrese's fashion statement, he didn't hesitate to speak his mind. He straight up called Tyrese, saying he's selling out to the devilish ways of Hollywood. Now, that's some heavy stuff right there. But let's not stop at the surface level. Now, let's peel back the layers like an onion. You see, wearing dresses for laughs ain't exactly a new thing in Hollywood. It's been going on for ages, with black actors and comedians stepping into heels for a chuckle. But here's where it gets interesting. Katt's got us thinking, is there more to it than just a laugh? Could there be a deeper, darker side to this dress-up game? And that red dress, well, that's got us scratching our heads even more. Is it some kind of secret ritual? A symbol of submission to the powers that be? We're diving deep into the rabbit hole. But let's not forget, Katt ain't just sprouting off nonsense. Now, he's speaking from the heart, from his own experiences. He's seen his idols go through it, and now he's shining a light on the shady side of Hollywood. Now, Tyrese actually caused quite the stir when he showed up at a film festival in Egypt, rocking a bold red dress paired with a slick black blazer. And social media went bananas over this one. People were quick to jump on the bandwagon, accusing Tyrese of all sorts of things, like doing some dress ritual and selling his soul to Hollywood. Some even said they got Tyrese in a dress. His finances must have been worse than we thought, SMH. But hold up, not everyone was throwing shade. Some folks out there were wondering if maybe Tyrese was trying to pay homage to the country he was visiting. You know, giving props where they're due. One person even asked why Tyrese was wearing a dress. We all have a lot of respect for Tyrese. So what's going on? Now, regardless of whether this was a dress or not, it's got us thinking about this ongoing narrative. Or some might even call it a conspiracy theory about how Hollywood tends to make black actors and comedians wear dresses as a way to, humiliate them. Yeah, it's been brewing for a while now. Back in 2006, Dave Chappelle himself talked about this whole thing during an interview with Oprah. He spilled the beans about how he was supposed to wear a dress while working on a movie with Martin Lawrence. Dave wasn't having it though. He straight up told the producers that he was not going for it. But you know how it goes in Hollywood, the director and the crew all ganged up on him, trying to make it happen despite Dave's objections. But Dave stood his ground. Eventually, the producers backed off when they realized Dave couldn't be swayed. Turns out they had a different script ready to roll anyway, but they just wanted to see if Dave could cave in and say yes to the dress. So after Dave spilled the beans about the whole dress debacle in Hollywood, they decided to throw the same question at Kevin Hart. Now, Kevin, being the savvy guy he is, brushed it off like it was no big deal. He straight up said that it had never happened to him. And hey, you gotta respect that hustle, setting boundaries and all. But get this, a few years down the line, Kevin pops up in an SNL sketch wearing, you guessed it, a dress. And wouldn't you know it, his career skyrockets. But hold on, rewind to that same year. Katt Williams, the king of comedy himself, is out here promoting Scary Movie 5. And guess what? He's rocking a dress too. Now, you'd think he'd be all serious about it, right? Nah, the man's out here smiling like it's no biggie. And when they ask him about it, Katt drops some truth bombs. He's like, listen, this whole Hollywood dress thing has been going on forever. It's all about whether you choose to join the Illuminati or not. Deep stuff, right? Katt's basically saying that some of us are cool with it, some of us ain't, but either way, there are consequences. And he ain't wrong. When you go against the Illuminati, you're basically asking for trouble. The press hates you, people talk smack about you, it's a whole mess. But hey, Katt's speaking his truth, and you gotta respect that. Now, back in the day, a lot of people brushed off this whole thing about black men wearing dresses in Hollywood as some wild conspiracy theory. But guess what? Now fans are coming through and saying, hold up, maybe there's something to this after all. And you know what? They might be onto something. Because the truth is, there's a whole bunch of black actors and comedians who hit the big leagues after strutting their stuff in a dress on screen. It's like a whole saga spanning decades. Back in the 70s and 80s, Flip Wilson did it with Geraldine on his show. Then in the 90s, Martin Lawrence and Jamie Foxx rocked Shanae and Wanda on their respective shows. Eddie Murphy even jumped in as Mama and Granny Clump in the Nutty Professor series, snagging an Oscar for makeup. And the parade just kept on marching through the 2000s and beyond, with folks like Sean and Marlon Wayans in White Chicks, Tracy Morgan and Kenan Thompson on Saturday Night Live, and Tyler Perry, the man himself, suiting up in dresses like it's nobody's business. But hey, if you want to dive deeper into this, let's reflect on the not-so-distant history of this nation. There's a whole record of how masters during slavery tried to weaken black men, stripping away their sense of manhood. They saw black men as threats, so they came up with all sorts of degrading methods, including making them wear dresses and wigs. Now, some folks argue that black men taking on black women's roles are a modern-day version of the same emasculation. But hold up, let's not jump into conclusions here. Rocking a dress or some hair pieces doesn't strip away manhood. Not for one person or the whole community. That's just a narrow-minded view. And here's the kicker. These female characters that black men take on don't always get the respect and humanity they deserve. Now, the jokes keep circling back to their looks, like how tall they are, their big hands, wide shoulders, hairy legs, you name it. It's like the world's stuck on these strict categories, and women aren't supposed to have those features. But you know what? These characters are more than just costumes. They're strong, they're fierce, and they deserve to be celebrated, not reduced to a punchline. So next time you see a black man in a dress on screen, remember there's more to it than meets the eye. It's time to give these characters the respect they deserve. Now, peep this, pretty much every black man who's gotten famous playing a woman on screen will tell you their character is based on real women they know. Tyler Perry, for instance, says his inspiration comes from his mom and aunt. And Martin Lawrence, he drew inspiration from those fly streetwise ladies named after fancy cars from the block. But here's the thing, a bunch of these characters, not all of them, but quite a few, somehow end up poking fun at a certain kind of femininity or looking down on a certain way of being a woman. And we ain't just talking about sneaking in a joke here and there. Nah, it goes deeper than that. Now, when you put these two issues together, show they feminize black masculinity and how they might show black womanhood in a distorted way, well, this can have real-life consequences. It affects how black men and women are seen, no doubt about it. There are even those who believe that this feminized image of black masculinity is a way to make black men seem less threatening, almost like balancing out the powerful image of black men in hip-hop culture. Terrence Howard spoke about this, saying only white men are allowed to be portrayed as strong and non-threatening at the same time. But when it's black men, it's seen as a threat. Now, as for Katt Williams and his comments about the Illuminati and the alleged dress ritual, a lot of folks initially dismiss him as a conspiracy theorist. But when he was asked to elaborate, Katt doubled down and said all conspiracies come from somewhere. So, what's your take on Tyrese wearing that dress on the red carpet? Do you think it's really some type of humiliation ritual, or are folks blowing this out of proportion? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and while you're at it, make sure to subscribe and drop a like.